Welcome once again to the Low Country Food Bank's Cooking Matters in Our Community education series.
Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to another lesson of Cooking Matters in Our Community. My name is Emma, and today we're going to be doing a little experiment to learn more about nutrition and what kind of foods we should eat to fuel our bodies. So, an experiment always starts with a question. Our question today is, how do whole grains digest differently in our bodies than refined grains? So let's break down some of the words in our question. We said, how do whole grains, so whole grains is one of the words we're going to break down. But first, what is a grain? So grains are one of the food groups on my plate. You can see that my plate says to make a quarter of our plate grains. So what foods are grains? Grains are foods like breads, pastas, rice, oatmeal, cereal, crackers, the list goes on. But it's recommended to make 50%, so half of your grains, whole grains. So this is a whole grain. You can see it has three different parts. It has the bran, the germ, and the endosperm. The bran is this brown outer part, and the germ is our inside seed, and our endosperm is the starchy white stuff on the inside. So this is a whole grain with all three parts. Nothing has been done to it. A refined grain is if I were to take off this brown outer layer and the inside germ that's packed with nutrients, and all I'd have left is that white endosperm. That is a refined grain. The next word in our question that we're going to define is digest. The word digest means the process in which our bodies break down food to make it absorbable so we can get energy and nutrients to grow. So now that we've gone through all of the words in our question, it's time to make our hypothesis. A hypothesis is an educated guess about what you think is going to happen when we do our experiment. So, what is going to happen when we digest a whole grain compared to a refined grain? Do you think that a refined grain is going to digest faster or slower than the whole grain? Write down your hypothesis, and then we're going to get started on the experiment. Here are all the materials that we need for this experiment. We have a container with some water. You could also use 2 containers. Then we have some whole wheat bread. How do we know that this is a whole grain? Well, we'll look at the nutrition facts label, find the ingredients, and we want the first word to be whole. That's how we know that this is the whole grain. Whereas our refined grain, a classic white bread, the first word on the ingredient list is enriched. So we know that that is a refined grain. So for our experiment today, we're going to place 1 piece of whole grain bread into our water and completely submerge it. And then we're going to do the same with the refined piece of bread. And we're going to let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're going to come back and check on it. So this is supposed to represent the bread in our stomachs. Okay, it's been 15 minutes and our bread has been digesting in our water. So what we're going to do is squeeze both breads and see what happens. So here's our white refined bread. We're going to give it a squeeze. Very squishy. It's completely falling apart. Now let's test our whole grain bread. We're going to squeeze. It's not really coming through my fingers. If I hold it out, it's still all in one piece. So look at the difference of the 2 breads. This one's still all together, and this one, it's ooey and gooey. It's already breaking down. So what does this mean? So what do you think about our results? You can see that the white bread started breaking down just after 15 minutes. It was stringy and gooey, and it was quickly turning into sugar, which in our bodies would give us a quick energy boost, but it wouldn't keep us going throughout the whole day. Whereas the whole grain bread was expanding and absorbing that liquid, which is going to keep us fuller for longer and give us energy to learn, play, and grow all day long. So remember, try to make half of your grains whole grains. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
For more information and recipes, visit lowcountryfoodbank.org/nutrition. And to learn where our food pantries and feeding partners are, visit lowcountryfoodbank.org and click Find Help.